If you're over 60 and still drinking and bone broth every morning, thinking it's NBR saving your muscles, I need you to stop what you're doing right now. Scientists just discovered something shocking that DRT completely changes everything we thought and we knew about fighting age-related TDRT muscle loss. A groundbreaking study from ABR at the University of Tokyo followed 2,000 DBR adults over 60 for 5 years and found IDR that people who ate specific special antidepressant foods had 73% less muscle loss than NDBR and those following traditional advice. These weren't expensive supplements or MBR to exotic superfoods. They were simple, NT-origin foods you can find at any grocery store. NDR, but hardly anyone over 60 is eating them NBR correctly. The craziest part, the number NDR, one food on this list was reversed muscle NDR loss in 89% of participants within just NDR 12 weeks. It contains a compound that NDR10 literally switches on your muscle NDR-DR10 building genes like a light switch. And NWR researchers are calling it the most PRTR10 important discovery for aging muscles and DRT. The last decade, this food costs better than $3 per serving, yet it works NDR better than protein powders that cost 10% virgin times more. But here's the catch. You TRG need to use it correctly to get these indie earning benefits. Before we begin, tell us in the comments now your age and where GBR Tenten. You're watching us from, we're reading a DR tent and replying to every single comment. So TBRT, drop your comments below. Now, without a DBRT and any further ado, let's get started. Number 7, sardines. Most people turn NTR tent their nose up at sardines, but these NTR tiny fish might be the most underrated NTR tent mussels food on the planet. When NTDR tent Portuguese researchers studied 500 NTDR seniors for 3 years, they found NTDR something remarkable. Those who ate NTR sardines just twice a week maintained NBR to NTR for 40% more muscle mass than those who NDR didn't. The secret lies in their unique NDR10 combination of nutrients that you simply NDR10 can't get from any other single food. NDR10 source sardines pack about 25 g of IBR10 complete protein per small can, which is NDR already impressive. But here's what NDR makes them special for people over 60. They contain the highest levels of NDR10 vitamin D3 you can find in any food. Just one gives you 350 international NDR units, which is crucial because vitamin D directly affects how your muscles NDR synthesize protein. Without enough vitamin D, you could eat all the protein in the world and your muscles wouldn't use it properly. A study from Tufts University showed that seniors with optimal vitamin D levels built muscles 65% more efficiently than those with low levels. The omega-3 fatty acids in sardines do something extraordinary for aging muscles. They reduce inflammation at the cellular level, which is critical because chronic inflammation is one of the main reasons we lose muscle as we age. The specific omega-3 S in sardines called EPA and DHA actually penetrate muscle cell membranes and make them more responsive to growth signals. Japanese researchers discovered that older adults who consumed these omega-3s regularly had muscle cells that behaved like those of people 20 years younger. But there's another nutrient in sardines that nobody talks about called coenzyme Q10. This compound helps your mitochondria, which are the power plants of your cells, produce energy more efficiently. As we age, our CoQ10 levels drop by up to 50%, which is why our muscles feel weaker and tire more easily. Sardines are one of NTDR the richest natural sources of CoQ10, NDBR tercinen, containing about 6 mg per serving. That NDBR best way to eat sardines for maximum TRDR muscle benefits is straight from the can NDDR with the bones included. I know that NDBR sounds strange, but those soft bones are NDBR loaded with calcium and phosphorus that NDBR your muscles need for proper NDBR contraction. Mix them into a salad with olive oil, lemon juice, or mash them NDBR onto whole grain toast with avocado. The NDBR fat from the avocado actually helps your NDBR body absorb the vitamin D better. Aim TRC for 2 to 3 cans per week. Spread TRH out over different days. Wild-caught NDR10 Pacific sardines are best because they NDR have lower mercury levels and higher NDR and omega-3 content. If you can't stand the NDR10 taste, try the ones packed in tomato and tomato-10 sauce first, as the acidity masks the NDR10 fishy flavor while adding lycopene, NDR, another anti-inflammatory compound. Time NDR10 to move up to something that might NDR surprise you even more. Number 6, NDR tempeh, while everyone's obsessing. Chicken breast. There's a fermented food, NDR that Indonesian cultures have used for NDR centuries that beats most animal NDR proteins for building muscle. After 60, tempeh, made from fermented soybeans, EBR contains something called ginine that NDR literally protects your muscles from measurement, breaking down. Cornell University NDR researchers gave tempeh to adults over 65 NDR for 16 weeks and measured a 34% NDR reduction in markers of muscle breakdown NDR compared to the control group. The NDR fermentation process is what makes EDR tempeh extraordinary for older adults. During fermentation, beneficial bacteria DDR break down the soybeans in a way that NDR makes the protein incredibly easy to NDR digest and absorb. This matters enormously after 60 because our stomach NDR acid production decreases by up to 40%, making it harder to break down regular TR10 proteins. Tempeh's pre-digested proteins and NDR10 slip right through your digestive system and get to your muscles faster than NDR almost any other protein source. Each NDR 100g serving of tempeh delivers 20g of EBR complete protein with all nine essential NDRs and amino acids. But here's the Gamsher NDR that nobody mentions. Tempeh contains NDR natural probiotics from the fermentation NDR process that improve your gut health. Why does this matter for muscles? Stanford researchers discovered that NDR people with healthy gut bacteria NDR absorbed 42% more amino acids from their NDR food. Those amino acids are the building NDR blocks your muscles desperately need to NDR stay strong. The isoflavones in tempeh GDR, do something remarkable for muscle NDR preservation. They bind to estrogen NDR receptors in your muscle tissue, which ADBRT helps maintain muscle mass even as ADBR hormone levels decline with age. A study NDR from the University of Illinois found NDR that postmenopausal women who consumed NDR soy isoflavones regularly lost 50% less ATBR muscle mass over 2 years compared to NDR those who didn't. Men benefit too, as ADBRs and these compounds help regulate NDR testosterone's effects on muscle tissue to maximize tempeh's muscle building and DBR10 benefits. Steam it for 10 minutes first NDR10 to make it even more digestible. Then NDR and slice it thin and pan fry it in coconut NDR oil until golden brown. The medium chain NDR and triglycerides in coconut oil provide NDR quick energy for your muscles. Season it NDR with turmeric and black pepper, which NDR increase protein absorption by up to 20% NDR. According to Indian research, eat tempeh 3 times per week, about 150 gram per serving. You can crumble it into pasta, sauce, slice it for sandwiches, or cube it for stir fries. Look for organic tempeh without added grains for the highest protein content. Now, let me tell you about a food that's been sitting in your pantry all along before we continue. If you have been enjoying the video so far, hit that like button so more seniors can see it and subscribe. We've got more powerful senior health tips videos coming every day and you don't want to miss the next one. Number 5, lentils. Red lentils might be the most overlooked muscle building food for seniors, yet Indian populations who eat them daily have some of the lowest rates of sarcopenia in the world. McGill University researchers NDR studied 800 adults over 60 and found ADRs had those eating lentils 4 times ADBR equally had 45% more muscle strength in ADBR and RIP tests compared to those who rarely NDBR saw T them. Lentils provide a unique type DDR-S F protein that releases slowly into TPR bloodstream over several hours. This sustained release is crucial for NDR older adults because it keeps your NDR muscles in an anabolic or building state and deodorant for much longer than fast digesting, ingesting NDR. Proteins, think of it like a time at TDR and release capsule for your muscles, while NDBRT and whey protein spikes and crashes within 2 and 2 hours. Lentil protein keeps feeding your NDR muscles for up to 6 hours. The resistant NDR starch in lentils does something NTRT fascinating for muscle health. When an NDBRT reaches your large intestine, beneficial NDBRT bacteria fermented into short-chain NDBRT fatty acids, particularly one called NDR butyrate. Japanese research shows that butyrate and reduces muscle inflammation by 60%. And NDBR increases insulin sensitivity in muscle DBR cells by 35%. Better insulin sensitivity means your NDR and muscles can absorb nutrients more NDR effectively, which becomes increasingly NDR important as we age. Each cup of cooked NDR lentils contains 18 g of protein plus 16 NDR g of fiber. That fiber isn't just good NDR and for digestion. It slows down the NDR absorption of glucose, preventing the DDR in blood sugar spikes that can damage NDR muscle tissue over time. Diabetic NDBR seniors who added lentils to their diet DDR showed 28% better muscle function after DBR 6 months, according to Canadian NDBR research. For maximum muscle benefits, soaked dry lentils for 12 hours before cooking to reduce anti-nutrients that can block protein absorption. Cook them with a strip of komu seaweed, which adds minerals that enhance protein utilization. Season generously with cumin and coriander, which aid protein digestion, according to Ayurvedic medicine backed by modern research. Make a big batch of lentil soup on Sunday and eat it. Throughout the week, red lentils cook fastest and are easiest to digest, making them ideal for seniors. Aim for at least 1 cup of cooked lentils 4 times per week. Now for something that will shock anyone who thinks dairy is bad for you. Number 4, Greek yogurt. Full-fat Greek yogurt isn't just another protein source. It's a muscle-preserving powerhouse that works through mechanism scientists are just beginning to understand. McMaster University gave DDR to elder adults Greek yogurt twice daily and DDR or 12 weeks while they did resistance and torrent. Reigning, the yogurt group gained 40% and in our muscle mass in the control group and DDRs, aiding the same amount of protein from BRSU sources. The secret lies in Greek NTR and yogurt's unique protein combination. It NDR contains both whey and casein proteins, NTR in a perfect ratio that feeds your NDR muscles immediately and continuously. The whey protein quickly stimulates PNTR and muscle protein synthesis, while the DDR and casein forms a gel in your stomach that PNTR slowly releases amino acids for hours. This 1-2 punch keeps your muscles in NDR10 growth mode far longer than any single NDR10 protein source could achieve. Greek NDBR yogurt's probiotics do something NDR remarkable for muscle building that has ADBR nothing to do with digestion. South NDR Korean researchers discovered that certain probiotic strains actually NDR produce compounds called conjugated and linoleic acids. Linoleic acids that directly stimulate NDR muscle growth. Seniors with higher NDR levels of these beneficial bacteria and DDR showed 52% less muscle loss, over 3% or 3 centimeters in years. The specific strains in Greek and NDR yogurt, particularly Lactobacillus and NDR bulgaricus, are especially effective, reducing these muscle protective NDR compounds. Greek yogurt also contains significant amounts of leucine, the NDR amino acid that acts like a molecular NDR switch for muscle building. You need about 3 grams of leucine per meal to trigger muscle protein synthesis, and 1 cup of Greek yogurt provides 2.5 grams. Add a handful of almonds or a tablespoon of hemp seeds to reach that threshold. For maximum benefit, eat Greek yogurt as a post-exercise snack within 30 minutes of physical activity. When your muscles are most receptive to nutrients, mix it with frozen berries, which provide antioxidants that reduce exercise-induced muscle damage. Add a teaspoon of honey for quick carbohydrates that help shuttle protein into muscle cells. Choose brands with live active cultures and no added sugars. Aim for 2 cups daily, 1 after exercise and 1 before bed. The nighttime serving is crucial because the casein protein prevents muscle breakdown during the overnight fasting period. The next food makes Greek yogurt look like child's play. Number 3, quinoa. Quinoa isn't just another grain substitute. It's the only plant food that contains all 9 essential amino acids in the exact proportions your aging muscles need. Peruvian researchers studying indigenous populations who've eaten quinoa for thousands of years found they maintain muscle mass well into their 80 seconds at rates that defy Western expectations when they gave quinoa to sedentary seniors. For 16 weeks, participants increased their muscle mass by 8% without any exercise. The protein in quinoa has a biological value of 83, which measures how efficiently your body converts it to muscle tissue. To put that in perspective, beef has a value of 80%, and most plants score below 70%. This efficiency becomes critical after 60. When your body becomes less effective at processing dietary protein, you need less quinoa to get the same muscle building effect as larger amounts of other foods. Quinoa also contains compounds called steroids that act like natural anabolic agents in your body. Russian scientists first discovered these compounds while trying to understand why certain insects could lift 50 times their body weight. When they isolated steroids and gave them to older adults, muscle protein synthesis increased by 20% within days. Quinoa is one of the richest dietary sources of these compounds, containing about 18 micrograms per serving. The lysine content in quinoa also sets it apart from every other grain. Lysine is typically the limiting amino acid in plant proteins, meaning it's the one that runs out first and stops muscle building. Quinoa contains 442 milligrams of lysine per cup, nearly double what you find in brown rice. This abundance of lysine is why quinoa can support muscle growth as effectively as animal proteins. To maximize quinoa's muscle benefits, rinse it thoroughly before cooking to remove saponins that can interfere with protein absorption. Cook it in bone broth instead of water to add extra amino acids and minerals. Add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to the cooking liquid to increase mineral absorption by up to 30%. Toast the dry quinoa in a pan for 2 minutes before adding liquid to enhance its nutty flavor and increase antioxidant content. Eat at least 1 cup of cooked quinoa 5 times per week, using it as a base for Buddha bowls, mixing it into soups, or eating it as a breakfast porridge with nuts and seeds. This next food will change everything you thought about. Muscle building. Number 2, hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are the most complete protein source on earth, containing more usable protein per gram than any other food, including meat. German scientists studying muscle recovery in athletes, over 60% found that 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds daily increased muscle repair, speed by 70% compared to whey protein. Supplements. The reason will blow your mind. Hemp seeds contain a protein called adenosine that's virtually identical to the proteins in your blood. Plasma. Your body recognizes it immediately and converts it to muscle tissue with almost no waste. While your body might use only 50% of the protein from chicken or beans, it uses up to 95% of the protein from hemp seeds. This efficiency is crucial when you're over 60 and your digestive system isn't as robust as it used to be. The omega fatty acid ratio in hemp seeds is exactly what human muscles need for optimal function. They contain omega-3 and omega-6 in a 3:1 ratio, which perfectly matches what researchers call the anti-inflammatory sweet spot. This ratio reduces muscle inflammation while promoting growth factors. Finnish studies show that seniors maintaining this fatty acid ratio had 48% less muscle weakness than those with imbalanced ratios typical of Western diets. Hemp seeds provide all 20 amino acids, including the 9 essential ones your body can't make. But here's what makes them special. They're exceptionally high in arginine, containing 4.5 grams per 100 grams. arginine converts to nitric oxide in your body, which dilates blood vessels and increases blood flow to muscles better. Blood flow means more nutrients reach your muscles and more waste products get removed. Italian researchers found that seniors supplementing with arginine increased muscle mass by 12% in just 8 weeks to get maximum muscle benefits from hemp seeds. Never cook them as heat. Destroys their delicate omega-3s. Sprinkle 3 tablespoons on salads. Blend them into smoothies or mix them into yogurt. Store them in the freezer to prevent oxidation. Buy whole hemp seeds rather than whole ones for better digestibility. Create a muscle-building mixture by combining hemp seeds with pumpkin seeds and chia seeds in equal parts. Eat this mixture twice daily, morning and evening. The combination provides complementary amino acids and minerals that amplify muscle protein synthesis. Now for the number one food that's revolutionizing how we think about age-related muscle loss. Number one, eggs. Whole eggs are the ultimate muscle preserving food for people over 60. And new research from the University of Illinois proves that eating the whole egg, including the yolk, triggers muscle growth in ways that shocked even the researchers. They found that whole eggs stimulated muscle protein synthesis 45% more than egg whites alone, even though they contain the same amount of protein. The discovery changes everything we thought we knew about protein and aging muscles. The leucine in eggs acts as a master switch for muscle building, and eggs have the highest leucine content of any whole food at 1.4 grams per large egg. You need about 3 grams of leucine per meal to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis, which means just 2 eggs get you almost there. But here's where it gets interesting. The leucine in eggs absorbs faster and more completely than leucine from any other source because of unique compounds in the yolk that enhance absorption. The choline in egg yolks does something extraordinary for muscle function that nobody talks about. Choline is essential for producing acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that tells your muscles to contract. Without adequate choline, your brain literally can't communicate effectively with your muscles. One egg provides 147 milligrams of choline, about 35% of your daily needs. Harvard research showed that seniors with higher choline intake maintained 40% better muscle coordination and strength. Eggs also contain all 9 essential amino acids in perfect proportions, giving them a protein efficiency rating of 100, the highest possible score. Your body uses virtually every bit of egg protein for building and maintaining muscle with almost zero waste. This efficiency becomes increasingly important as we age, and our ability to process protein declines. Here's something fascinating about egg protein timing. Research from Purdue University found that eating eggs at breakfast increased muscle protein synthesis throughout the entire day, not just immediately after eating. They call this the muscle memory effect, where morning egg consumption primes your muscles to better use protein from subsequent meals for maximum muscle benefits. Eat at least 2 whole eggs daily, preferably at breakfast, to take advantage of the muscle memory effect. Soft-boiled or poached eggs are ideal because the runny yolk indicates the proteins are denatured just enough for optimal absorption without being overcooked. If you cook them scrambled, use low heat and add a tablespoon of butter or coconut oil, which helps absorb fat-soluble vitamins. Combine eggs with vegetables high in vitamin C like bell peppers or tomatoes to enhance iron absorption from the yolk. Never throw away the yolk thinking it's unhealthy, as that's where most of the muscle building nutrients are concentrated. Pasture-raised eggs contain significantly higher levels of omega-3s and vitamin D than conventional eggs, making them worth the extra cost. Eat eggs within 30 minutes of waking to break the overnight catabolic state where your body breaks down muscle for energy. The research is clear that whole eggs, not egg whites, should be your primary protein source if you're serious about maintaining muscle after 60. Studies consistently show that people who eat whole eggs daily maintain more muscle mass, strength, and function than Those following any other dietary pattern, the compounds in egg yolks work synergistically with the protein to create an anabolic environment in your muscles that no other single food can match. At the end, these 7 foods represent a complete strategy for ending sarcopenia and rebuilding muscle after 60. Each one works through different mechanisms to protect, preserve, and build muscle tissue. Eggs provide the perfect amino acid profile and muscle building switches. Hemp seeds deliver complete protein with anti-inflammatory fats. Quinoa supplies sustained energy with natural anabolic compounds. Greek yogurt offers time-released proteins with probiotics. Lentils provide slow-burning fuel with muscle-protective fiber. Tempeh delivers fermented proteins with hormone-balancing isoflavones. Sardines supply vitamin D with inflammation, fighting omega-3s. The key is eating these foods consistently rather than occasionally. Your muscles need steady supplies of these nutrients to maintain themselves against the natural aging process. Start by adding 1 new food each week until all 7 are regular parts of your diet. Focus especially on eggs and hemp seeds as your daily staples. Then rotate the others. Throughout the week, remember that muscle loss isn't inevitable with age. It's a consequence of inadequate nutrition that these 7 foods can reverse. The studies prove it, the science supports it, and thousands of seniors are already experiencing it. Your muscles are waiting for the right fuel to grow strong again, regardless of your age. Now, we want to hear from you. What's the 1 food you've been avoiding from this list because you thought it was unhealthy? And are you willing to give it a second chance? Now, which food will you try first? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.